What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how we doing on this beautiful Tuesday morning?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. A little run down because I spent the weekend in AC. Not too big of a gambler or nothing, but I did win big on the Giants game. Shout out to all my Giants fans. Big win
Shout
for
out
you
to everybody.
guys. But even better news came out of the AC trip, Pat, because I'm going back in 2 weeks
Tell me.
because I'm seeing an Elvis impersonator. An Elvis impersonator. His name's like Charles Danley or something like that. He's the man. I'm pumped. 2 weeks, bro. I'll be seeing the King live. I'm chilling. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm great. Shout out to the Giants, bro. Like, I'm kind of like a casual football fan, but I will say I'm going hard for the Giants. I want to see a New York team like finally win something big, right? Like it's been a long time. So
And that's the thing with me, yo. Like I'm a Jets fan, but like when it comes to sports, I don't want to say outside of baseball because in parts I'm honestly this way with the Mets too. But I root local for sports.
I go hard in the
Outside of
playoffs.
probably the
I do.
Brooklyn Nets, actually, because I think I have like a natural distaste to them once they got like Kyrie and Kevin Durant a few years ago. But it's nice for like sports talk radio purposes. It's more interesting if
Sure.
New York sports teams are good. So, dude,
Yeah.
fuck it, Giants go win
Shout
the
out New
Super Bowl,
York,
baby.
dude.
Yeah,
But yo, let's get into topic number one because I think we could all agree that we go hard for the Yankees no matter what, no matter if it's playoffs, regular season, spring training, we don't care. But some news came out that the Yankees' fifth starter, Frankie Montas, will reportedly miss the first month of the regular season due to shoulder inflammation. Once the news came out, a lot of people overreacted. A lot of people kind of brushed it off as if it was nothing. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's nothing? Give me your thoughts on Frankie Montas's shoulder inflammation.
dude, it couldn't be less of a big deal. Does that make sense? Is that grammatically correct?
Less of a
Yo,
big
I
deal, sure.
think, and I understand why some of us are like this, but when it comes to Yankee fans, I've said it for quite some time now. We are just naturally pessimistic. I feel like one guy goes out for a month and all of a sudden, like the sky is falling. No. Going into this season with a healthy Frankie Montas, the Yankees are projected to have the best staff in all of baseball with Frankie Montas, right? According to Fangraphs, at least. You take out Frankie Montas and just go off projected WAR of the Yankees starting four, they're still, I believe, a top six team in all of baseball, just from Cole, Rodon, Sevy, Nestor, or whatever the order may be. The Yankee rotation is going to be just fine, Pat. And not to mention, it's just for a month. The Yankees are making sure he gets back to 100% with that shoulder. And if you want to argue, like, just from the trade being a bust perspective, sure, a lot of people are mentioning, yo, the pitching talent we gave up to Oakland for that, we could have used that to maybe help get Brian Reynolds. Not necessarily. While Pittsburgh does, yes, want like pitching prospect talent, Ken Waldichuk, JP Sears, very nice pitchers, could be like a good number two or number three. They are not exactly blue chip prospects. Like they're not the players I think that would solidify the deal for Brian Reynolds. Why, you disagree?
Well, no, I think if you want to say that about Sears, sure. But I mean, listen, shout out to Ken Waldichuk. But I do think that, like, in terms of the Yankees' current pitching prospect depth, I think that he's kind of he would have kind of been by far the Yankees' best pitching
Oh,
prospect,
without a
and
doubt, Ken
he was at
Waldichuk
the
is the
time.
man, 100%. I'm just saying he's still, as much as we did like him, and he's a nice pitcher, but he wasn't the pitching version of, say, the pitching equivalent of Jason Dominguez or
Sure.
Anthony Volpe. You know what I'm saying? So just overall, I think, and I understand once again why they are like this with how things have gone. Hella Yankee fans overreacting to this. We still have, even if he doesn't throw one pitch for us this year, Pat, we have the best staff in the American League, at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could see. I'm like playing devil's advocate a little bit
You
here
were coming
because
from the other side. You were panicking before this, weren't you? Yeah, a little
no,
bit.
no, 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 no. Me
No,
personally,
okay.
I wasn't panicking. But to play devil's advocate, like I can maybe understand the people who are panicking, right? Just because we've been down this road so many times, especially with starting pitching. And you look at a guy like Frankie Montas, who was disappointing last year, whether that be because of injuries or whatever else. Now, kind of going into the 2023 season, where the hopes were really high that he was going to bounce back and be like the greatest fifth starter of all time. Now, to see the Yankees rotation kind of like losing him at the back end, it could be discouraging for fans. And then also when you say it's only going to be a month that he's gone, there's no guarantee that it's only going to be a month, right? Because we've seen this kind of happen before, where we're told he's going to miss a month due to shoulder inflammation, and then May comes around, then we're like, oh, we maybe towards the All-Star break he might be coming back. So I can understand why some fans might be a little bit more concerned. Me personally, I'm not, because of reasons that you said. The Yankees still have arguably the best rotation in the American League, even without Montas as their fifth starter. And yeah, I think the Yankees are going to be fine in his absence, but I do understand people who are maybe panicking a little bit because of it.
Yeah, okay. Two things I want to say about that, and I'm with you on what you're saying. But first of all, you talk about the best rotation in the American League. I don't think we should forget that, what do we always talk about? October, right? What matters is your first four. What is your playoff rotation? And as I
Sure.
said, Cole, Rodon, Nestor, Sevy, that is the best, in my opinion, that you can have in baseball right now going today. Also, the Yankees, I don't think this is exactly news to them, right? I mean, who says that this came out 2 days ago to them like it did to us? I think this could have probably went into the Rodon signing.
Sure.
Good thing they didn't follow my plan, because my blueprint, I had, don't go after starting pitching. Stick with your starting staff the way it is, because Frankie Montas is your 4, Domingo Germán or Clarke Schmidt is your 5. That's still more than good enough, in my opinion. But if that weren't the case, if they didn't go out and get Rodon, and now you have Montas is on IL, and what, Clarke Schmidt your 4, Domingo Germán your 4,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So this makes the Rodon signing all that much more bigger. And I think the Yankees kind of knew that going in, and that's why they did that. What? That was poor speech by me. I said that much bigger.
No, but it's fine. You said much more bigger, but it's fine, dude.
The point is the Yankees are more than capable of handling this, Pat. Damn, I can't speak today, bro. I was doing pretty good early on. I was getting my words out, and now all of a sudden I can't formulate a goddamn sentence.
No, I think that you formulated greatly. I don't, dude. Maybe we just can't speak.
Next
today.
topic.
Moving on, topic number 2. I guess it has to do with topic number 1. Like we said, Montas is going to miss the first month of the season, maybe, and then some. We'll see. But the Yankees need a new number 5 starter. I guess the 2 options we're kind of looking at now that are in-house would be Domingo Germán or Clarke Schmidt. Me personally, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to go with Domingo Germán, simply because he was kind of the guy we were looking at as the 5th starter anyway before the Yankees signed Rodon. I think we were completely cool with it. And also, I think Schmidt classifies much better as a reliever. You look at his numbers from 2022. I know it's like not a huge sample size, but his numbers as a starter weren't that great compared to his numbers as a reliever. And also I think that Schmidt could play a huge role in the bullpen this season. I know the Yankees have like pretty solid bullpen depth going into the year, but I think that he could really find himself being a big piece. I know he wasn't great in the playoffs, but I don't know. I think this one's kind of an easy selection for me to go with Germán as that number 5 guy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's easy, but it's easy from the standpoint of like you can't go wrong either way. I think if you go with Germán, you're going to be just fine. He's proven enough now.
But then what would you do with Germán if you don't go with him?
Well, the Yankees have tried to work out Germán in the pen before. I mean, 2021, they tried throwing him out there a few times, and going into the 2019 playoffs, he wasn't going to go in as a starter. He was going to be pitching out of the bullpen. And I think even at times this past year, that was the case. He's good enough as a starter. If they go with him, that's going to be more than just fine. Clarke Schmidt, though, I will say, while I'm definitely not his biggest fan by any means, I've never been as hyped about him as other fans have been. At the same time, though, he is still first-round draft pick, top 100 prospect at one point. And he did have nice numbers last year. And if the Yankees have faith in him and they're not going to trade him, I think you might as well just give him the 5 spot, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, I don't think that they see Schmidt long-term as a starter. I mean, maybe if their idea is to like, yo, let's try out Schmidt as a starter. And then if he does well, I mean, that's just boosting his trade value for like a potential Reynolds trade at the deadline. Maybe that could be some sort of logic there.
That's a big
kind
part
of
of it, boosting value.
Show Pittsburgh, be like, yo, he's also a really good starter too. So if we want to give him to you and he could be a starter, sure. But I think if you're just kind of using like talent-wise and what makes the most sense, I think Germán probably makes the most sense right now if you're going to go with one.
Yeah, and if Schmidt gets shelled, you can always put Germán in. But also, the Yankees, after the end of this year, they'll have Severino a free agent. Frankie Montas is a free agent. So you kind of want to see what he's made of. If he's like one of the few guys that you know could be on the staff for years to come, like he has control through what, 2027, I believe, Clarke Schmidt.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also going to have Shohei Ohtani as a free agent. You're going to, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have there's going to be multiple free agent pitchers that are available that you'd want. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to young, controllable pitchers,
sure,
I think it's give him a chance. See what he's got.
We'll see. But topic number 3 here. Dan, the Yankees have agreed to contracts with all of their arbitration eligible. That's a tongue twister. Arbitration eligible players, except Gleyber Torres, who is asking for $10.2 million instead of the $9.7 New York offered. Do you think it's a big deal? Because I mean, you look at last offseason, kind of what the Yankees went through with Judge in terms of arbitration. I feel like that was like a little bit of a saga. That was like a pre-saga before the free agency saga. Yeah. And now you're kind of seeing like they're going to arbitration with Gleyber over $500,000. Do you think the Yankees are kind of being like penny pinching?
I don't think it's like a black and white type deal where like no matter what, the Yankees should be not cheap or they should be cheap or whatever. With Judge, it was a little, you probably should just give him the money. Gleyber, like, he's not somebody where I would be worried about like hurting his feelings, right? Judge, that wasn't so much the case. I think they should have just been like, yo, like, you're our guy. Here's the money. You also have Dellin a few years back. They actually went to arbitration because at least with Judge, they didn't get in the room. So we'll see if they get in the room with Gleyber or not. But like, it gets pretty messy in there. So like, just from the fact of letting that happen, I guess wouldn't be ideal. Like maybe 500 grand isn't enough to risk doing that, but it's not like I'm worried about hurting Gleyber's feelings. Does that make sense?
No, no, no.
If
I
you
think it
think a
makes total
player's worth
sense.
this amount, then you should pay him that amount,
Sure. And
barring under other circumstances.
I get that the Yankees aren't really in a position right now where it's like, yo, we need to do anything possible monetarily to satisfy Gleyber Torres, just because it's like, yo, even if he
Right.
hits free agency next year, like we don't know what's going to happen, especially with Peraza, especially with Volpe. It's like I'm not considering Gleyber a lock at all to sign a long-term contract with the Yankees. If anything, I think I would be leaning much more towards the opposite of him kind of like hitting free agency and signing a big deal with like the Marlins or something, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But at the end of the day, it's $500,000. So right now, Gleyber Torres is a New York Yankee. If he wants 10.2 million, I think that it's a little bit of a slap in the face to counter and be like, yo, you're worth 9.7. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like, yo,
Yeah.
think about like you and your profession, right? Like, let's say you ask your boss for, I don't know, 70,000 a year. And then they come back and counter, like, nah, we'll give you 68. It's kind of just like, yo,
Yeah,
like at
but
what point?
maybe from a status position, sure, but like it's also much different on obviously professional baseball players level. Like, what is the difference on Gleyber's end as well, the Yankees end, whatever, 10.2 to 9.7 mil on both sides isn't that much. So like, yo, just meet
No.
in the middle at 10. Like on Gleyber's end too, it's like, bro, what's the big deal? On the Yankees end, kind of, yeah, what's the big deal? But at least they have the luxury tax to use as an excuse if they're really trying to stay under that.
Yeah,
Which is that's
but
not
at
an
this point,
excuse, but if that's what they're doing, that is what they're doing. I don't know. I think that is probably where they're headed under 273. It appears so.
I don't think it's about the money. You know what I mean? I think it's more so of like,
Setting a precedent,
um,
or
yeah, it's kind of like just setting like it's kind of just like the meaning of it rather than like the actual dollar sign involved. It's like, yo, no one kind of wants to budge. So I don't know. It's just it's weird, bro. I don't like. I
which
hate arbitration stuff like
I think
this.
I'm also like maybe letting like the projected arbitration salaries get in the back of my head a little bit because I remember Gleyber was projected to make 9 million this year. So like the
Yeah,
fact that he wants 10.2, it's like I think 9 was already probably going to be good enough. They're offering you 9.7. Hopefully, it
it's
won't be a
also
big story because as long as they don't go in the room, it's fine.
yeah,
But if they do go into the arbitrator room, then it's like for those who don't know, they pretty much just talk shit about the player and why he's not worth that amount. And that's where it's like, yo, yeah, 500 grand is not a lot. It's not enough to
yeah.
risk doing this.
Bro, it would
Players will
almost
get really
guarantee
butthurt.
Glaber's gone. It would almost like because bro, we all know like with the whole Dallin thing that completely shattered the
That was a
relationship.
shit
Like,
show, bro.
yeah.
And like
So
it really didn't end up being a huge thing only because like by the time Dellin was a free agent, you didn't really want him back because not ineffectiveness, but the
sure.
injury,
No, yeah.
But like that could have been one of those things where like say Dellin Betances was the prime closer in the market, like he may just not wanted to come back and just bolted somewhere else because of the arbitration case. It gets messy. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, but also it's like in the Glaber situation, this wouldn't be the first time where the Yankees and Glaber, there's been like a little bit of animosity between the two sides in the media's eyes, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
with
had
like the
Brian
trade
Cashman
deadline.
coming out and being like, oh, Glaber showed up to camp out of shape. And then you also had like the whole trade deadline stuff, and that had Glaber not performing well. So this isn't the first time that there's some sort of friction between the Yankees and Gleyber Torres. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. But speaking of friction, speaking of controversy, Trevor Bauer's reinstated. He was released by the Dodgers, and he is now a free agent. Dan, I guess we could kind of look at the Yankees' options now. I guess now that Frankie Montas is going to be out for the first month of the season, the Yankees have an opening in that fifth spot in the rotation. Would you want the Yankees to take a flyer on Trevor Bauer, or do you think it would be too risky for clubhouse chemistry, or kind of just like bad press in the media, or kind of just too big of a distraction?
Nah, I wouldn't want him only because I feel like that the need doesn't equate the risk in a sense. Now, if Trevor Bauer played left field and was a switch hitter and provided above average offense, then I would probably be like, you know what? You vet the guy out, make sure he's going to be good in the clubhouse. Because even before whatever the hell happened with this case the last 2 years or whatever, it was a talk like, is Trevor Bauer going to be okay in a team's clubhouse, right? Like even
Yeah.
before any of this was a thing. So just making sure that like the guys in the room would be okay with him being in there, which the Dodgers clubhouse wasn't. They all, I guess, voted and majority said, nah, get him out of here or whatever. If that were the case with the Yankees, then you don't bring him in. But if you had a need, I wouldn't be opposed to it. The Yankees they really don't have a need right now. As I mentioned in the beginning, our pitching is going to be just fine. And for the potential headache of Trevor Bauer, which who knows, maybe he cleans up his act, but it is a risk and like the need's just not big enough. So I'll say no. But if we did need him, I would, yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree to a point, but I don't think it's like a potential headache. I think it's a guaranteed headache, right? Because whatever team does sign Trevor Bauer, like you're guaranteed for a headache at least like through spring training, through the beginning of the regular
In
season.
terms of it being just a distraction in itself, yes, absolutely. But I
Yeah,
mean more so just like Trevor Bauer as a whole. This
sure.
aside, because I don't even know really how to talk about this whole thing, because I don't know what the hell happened. But like, because a lot of times guys after coming back from whatever it may be, whether it's A-Rod after suspension or Mike Vick after his incident, like they usually do come back some sort of like a changed man. And even if that's true, like internally, if he's actually changed, they'll usually try to like put the perception out there that like, yo, I'm not going to cause any trouble. Like they kind of try to fit in, like be behind the scenes a little bit, or like be in the back of the room, like not causing too much trouble. So if that were the case and you knew you could trust him from that standpoint and you truly needed his position, I would definitely be open to it, because in the end, is if one team out there wants him, and let's just say that team's in the AL East, then I'm putting my foot in the race too. If I'm somebody that legitimately was needed that
Sure.
position, is what I'm saying.
And I think everyone's kind of playing like everyone's kind of like staring each other down right now, waiting to see who's going to make the first move. And I think I agree with you in the sense of, let's say the Yankees had a serious need when it comes to starting pitching. Let's say the Yankees didn't even have a number two, right? Like let's just say it was Garrett Cole and then like 4 question marks, which it was
Yeah.
for a while. I wouldn't be opposed to the Yankees kind of taking a flyer on Trevor Bauer. But I think you look at their rotation. I mean, it's already one of the best in baseball. I don't think whatever you're going to get from Bauer, which, I mean, don't forget, he hasn't pitched in what, like a year and a half at this point. So you don't
He's been
necessarily,
throwing a lot though, and he's been doing
yeah,
his
but
like
you
Rapsodo
don't,
stuff.
it's not guaranteed that he's going to be Cy
You're right.
Young
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer when he comes back. So it's not like you're guaranteeing yourself an absolute ace. And I don't know. I just don't think that it's worth the headache. I mean, I'm the person who was in the boat where I didn't think the Yankees should have brought back Domingo Herman. What was that, before 2021, where there was like
Yeah.
the whole distraction where Zach Britton said something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of distractions in the clubhouse when it comes to stuff like this. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sure one team will take a flyer on him just because we know the talent that he provides on the field. And I think my prediction would probably be that it would be a team that doesn't have a lot to lose distraction wise, right? Like I think it's going to be a team that probably isn't going to be competing in the playoffs this year, but they think if they could sign Bauer to a league minimum deal here, and then they could flip him at the
Right.
trade
Yeah.
deadline, because I think competitive teams will be much more willing to take on Trevor Bauer after another team does first, right? So like let's say I don't know, let's say the Athletics sign Trevor Bauer to a minimum deal. Come the trade deadline, he's putting up ridiculous numbers. He has like a sub 2 ERA. I can
Yeah.
guarantee you there will be a lot more teams in the hunt. Like let's say the Mets, for example, they might not want to take a risk on the distraction now, but once the distraction is kind of over by the deadline, he's pitching like a dog, then they'll be more willing to take that risk on him. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's going to be happening.
That's a good ass point. No, for sure. And also, and this goes back to Herman. This is my whole stance and all this thing. If I was, say, an owner and I'm in the room with 30 the other 29 owners and we're all talking like, yo, are we going to sign this guy or not? If all of us sit out and say, no, just let him be, I'm not going to play baseball again. All right, fine. Like, I'll go buy that. I think that's word. But if one guy, one out of the 30 owners says, nah, I think I might negotiate and bring him on, my foot's in the water then too. Because at that point, yo, like, he's just a baseball player then. As crazy as it may sound, like you're not really talking, you're just talking business at that point. You're not talking how good of a person he is. You're not talking like lawsuits or none of that, which I know sounds so crazy to say, but at one point it's like if your competitor can sign him, can sign this really good pitcher, then like a team shouldn't be looked upon badly if they do the same. You know what I mean? So at some
Sure.
point it is just a baseball player, and you do unfortunately have to separate like person from player. But in the Yankees boat right now, they don't really know. I forgot about the Cole stuff too. Cole hates him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would definitely. I mean, that
Yeah.
was kind of like discussion when we,
That was
because
the
I was kind of,
discussion.
yeah, I was a firm believer in like the Yankees should have signed Bauer. I think it was after the 2020 season.
Yeah.
But then there was obviously that whole stuff where like Cole hates him. They have beef with each other, whatever. So listen, I don't think that there's any chance that the Yankees sign Trevor Bauer.
Nah.
But I mean, people maybe have been suggesting it because of the Montas thing, but I don't see it happening.
Nah.
But Dan, topic number 5 here. Aaron Judge, Captain Aaron Judge. That feels good to say. It really does.
Dude, yeah. I posted
Uh,
earlier to some picture of like Judge chilling with some minor leaguers, and it was so nice. Like I'd even write Aaron Judge, just put like the captain hanging out with some minor leaguers in Tampa, Florida. It
it's
was
nice.
so sick, bro.
It's
Yeah.
nice. But the captain, Aaron Judge, is set to receive the key to the city from New York's Governor Eric Adams after his record-breaking season. Does this do anything for you? Because I'm gonna be honest, like, listen,
Yeah.
I get the whole like key to the city thing. I don't know how many people have a key to the city, but I will say at this point, I get it. Aaron Judge had a monster 2022 season, one of the greatest seasons of our lifetime. But I think that kind of like the whole what's the word to say? Like the victory parade afterwards, where he's like kind of like making his rounds in the media and kind of just being like celebrated all over New York for
He's not
signing.
living it up himself, though. It's not like
No, no,
dictated by
no,
Judge.
no. But you know what I mean. There's definitely like a victory lap in terms of like media and also kind of like press conferences and ceremonies and whatnot. I think that it needs to come to an end. Just because I mean, bro, key to the city's cool, but like they didn't win a World Series yet, right? Like Aaron Judge still hasn't brought home a title to New York. I would have saved it until after the Yankees win a World Series. That's just me. But like, give me your thoughts
Sure.
on it.
I almost think I thought you were going to say it's not a big deal at all. And I was going to combat you on that a little bit. I think I want to remind you, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's kind of cute. You just give him a little key to the
It's
city.
cute.
Same with little GQ covers and all that. It's nothing. I don't think that like means Judge should be like satisfied with the 2022 season. No, but I think it's cool, man. It's like, it reminds me of how, like, I always talk about the Yankees growing up and what I thought they are. Like, they're just the shit, man. Like, what other fucking sports athlete gets like the key
I
to the city, which
know.
I'm sure has happened. I just think it's cool. And it's just like a nice little moment. Like, oh, Aaron Judge gets the key to the city after, of course, hitting a record-breaking home run season for the
I know, but then what
Yankees.
do you do for him when he wins the World Series and wins World Series MVP? You know what I mean? It's like you can't give him everything now because there's more to come, hopefully. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I
sure, but
would have saved it.
it's not like the Yankees gave it to him. It's Mayor Eric Adams, which I think is his name, by the way. I didn't
Oh,
look
he's
that
the
up.
mayor, bro. You put governor on our sheet. I
Oh,
should have
governor,
known
whatever.
better.
Goddamn. Well, I know he's the mayor. I just a little typo, I guess. And it reminds me of, I wouldn't even know, to be honest, what the key to the city is if not for Spider-Man 3, where
Nah,
Spider-Man gets it.
it's just like
You
like
know,
a
I
novelty.
guess some people can make a difference. Enough said.
What does
To
that have to do
Spider-Man
with
3
anything?
because you're uncultured, bro. But I
How
think it's
many
cool. It's like a
people
nice little,
have
it's like I
a
said, it's
key?
cute, bro. It's a little key to the city for Aaron Judge. Put that up. It's like a respect thing. It's like, thank you. Because in the end, bro, it was a really, really awesome season. Aren't you glad you were
There,
able to see it?
yeah, sure, but I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah, sure.
guys who I mean, there's a lot of people who have a key to the city. I'm
That
just
very well
saying.
could be the case. I have no idea if I have a
Like
key to the
the
city. How many?
1969 Mets have a key to the city.
That makes it cooler to me, Pat. You just went back to
Okay,
1969 as
do
your
you want me to
example.
start whipping out
I thought you
everybody
were
who
gonna
has
say
a
like there were
key to
like
New York
20 key
City?
to the cities in 2022 or some shit like that. Like, when was like the most last notable one? Like, how's it work?
I don't like
Then we
right
gotta
now
get out of here.
it's only showing me the ones that were awarded by Bill de Blasio, but okay, so Kenneth and Catherine Chenault for their
I don't know who it
leadership in
is.
the arts, business, and philanthropy.
Nobody cares about that shit. Give
Um
me an athlete. Give me an athlete.
the women's national soccer team, they won the World Cup.
That's
Doc
cool.
Gooden,
Okay.
Richard Parsons.
'Cause at least like Gooden was on the 86 Mets and he's like a big figure in New York as a whole. So you
I
think a
don't
no
know, bro.
hitter
Like it's kind of meaningless
and
to me.
Mets.
It's cute. It's cute. It's
Hey,
cute.
it's the topic 5. If I made it a topic 1, I'd understand. I would understand. But
I get
yo,
it.
good episode today, man. I'm glad
Oh
we
wait,
were
A-Rod
back
has
at it.
one?
You're kidding.
A-Rod has a key to the city.
From when?
There's a picture of him and Bloomberg holding a key, and he's giving it to him. Yeah, I
It may have
think
been
A-Rod
after.
has a.
Was it A-Rod? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he got one after. Oh no, it was after his 500th homer is when A-Rod got one. Okay,
Oh,
interesting. Wow.
okay.
How times
Okay. I
change.
like that.
You're a fucker, bro. I can't believe you. So now you like it because A-Rod got one?
No, I'm a big fan of this now.
And yo, you can at the very least say, and you do have to take it with a grain of salt because A-Rod was clean at the time, so remember that. But A-Rod's 500th homer or Judge hitting 62, what's the bigger deal?
Judge
Remember,
hitting 62.
Clean A-Rod at the time, but yes, I could not
Yeah.
agree more. Could not agree
Yeah.
more.
No, I agree.
Granted,
I
A-Rod
agree.
hitting 500 time was that was a big deal. He was like the savior of the steroid era at that time, youngest to ever do it, was on pace to crush over 800 homers. Like,
Love A-Rod.
shame how it turned out, but yeah, love A-Rod. Love this show, more importantly.
Love you guys.
Equally as importantly, because I wouldn't be here doing the show without A-Rod, or Aaron Judge, to be honest.
Same. No, same.
Or
To
I
be
guess
honest.
probably without Aaron Judge, unfortunately, but definitely not without A-Rod. I wouldn't be here.
A-Rod really like spiked my Yankee fandom as a kid,
Hey,
for sure.
you were High Sox in Little League.
Yeah, I did
That'll do it.
because of A-Rod.
Drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Rate, review, subscribe on podcast. And yo, Pat, where can they find you for the first time in like 25 episodes?
On Twitter at Unhinged Patrick, on Instagram at True Hennessy.
Very nice. Dan on Rourke on Twitter, Yankees Avenue on Instagram, and also the Yanks App Show on Twitter, which is now verified for no other reason that I subscribe to Twitter Blue. That'll do it, guys. I will see you guys next time. I guess later next week. We will see you guys next time. I'm being selfish here all of a sudden. What, Friday episode, I guess? I figure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right, y'all. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees.